Last week, I spoke about us as men, and I painted us in a very real but bad picture. Now, I want to give advice to you, ladies, to women. I want to advise you about us as men. And maybe this advice will also save you from getting raped, getting assaulted, or even getting murdered. Uh, the first thing that you need to understand about us as men is that when you get into a relationship with a man, it takes a very long time for a man to even think about marriage. So do not get into a relationship with a guy and hope that in the next 2 years he's gonna marry you. It takes a very long time for us to even consider that. When we get into a relationship, we get into a relationship and we have fun without looking for commitments. So the mistake then you will do, you will pressure this man to marry you. And because he feels pressure, he's going to marry you. And then guess what? When he gets tired of that marriage, he's going to abuse you because he got himself into something that he was not ready for. And the second thing you need to know about us, which will save your life down the line. Men do not change just because someone wants them to change. If you met a man in a shebeen, oh, believe me, he's gonna keep going back to that shebeen even when you have 10 kids. A man will only change if he wants to change. So the mistake that women sometimes do is to get into a relationship with a man and hope that he's gonna change him. Men only change when they want to change. So don't get yourself into a project of trying to change a man. Instead of changing, he will get worse. And when you try to change him, he's going to get frustrated. And through that frustration, he's going to end up abusing you. Something else that men value is their friends. As men, we value friendships. We like to hang out with boys. We like it. We love it. So sometimes men feel that when they get into relationships, they are indirectly forced to abandon their friends or friendships. And those friendships are spaces for men to openly speak their mind or to cry. So do not deprive them of that space, because when you deprive him of that space, he's going to take his frustrations out on you. Another thing that you need to know about us as men, our attention to detail sucks. I know it frustrates, but unfortunately, we can only listen for so much. And it becomes a frustration then when you are always shouted at because you do not listen attentively. It is in us. That is how we are wired. We listen, but at some point, our attention span fails us. So you must always understand, do not think the man is ignoring you. He's not ignoring you. He has heard the important parts that he wanted to hear. And unfortunately, it is something that most of us men feel like we are born with. So do not take it out on him because it frustrates him. Another important point, especially those that are not in marriages. No man gets into a dating relationship looking for a child or a baby. Oh, believe me. Oh, we hate it. When a girlfriend tells you that I'm pregnant, you wish you can just die. Yes. And the sad thing is, as much as we hate it, we don't condomize. But believe me, we don't want to have babies. So the best thing you need to do is to protect yourself. Be clear. If you want to have a baby, make it known to the guy that you want to have a baby so that he can make his choice. If he doesn't want to have a baby and you want to have a baby, maybe then you are not in a good relationship or you are not in a right relationship. Cut your losses and move. Or he must cut his losses and move. Unless you both agree that you want to have a baby outside of marriage. Because you will be left with a child to raise. One more thing. Women, men are human, but as human as they are, they have very fragile egos. A man loves to be respected. The worst thing you can do is to make a man feel less of a man. That destroys a man. And when that happens, he's gonna start getting abusive, assaulting you, or even killing you. So whatever you do not make a man feel less of a man. If you are no longer interested in what he does, cut your losses as early as possible. Cut your losses as early as possible. Otherwise, you will die. Men don't like to be compared to other men. When you compare, especially if you are comparing him to a successful man, it gives him an idea that you have a bit of a feeling for that man you are comparing him against. That is all because of that fragile ego. So those are things that will lead to that man abusing you. So always look for red flags as early as possible. And if you feel that this is not the right man for you, do not stay and hope he's going to change. He's not going to change. The only change that's going to happen is you will get into an abusive relationship. Yes, not all men are bad. But sometimes even good men, they feel pressured. And the worst thing is that even when they go to police station to lay a charge of abuse when they get abused, the law will not speak for them. Because unfortunately, the same law enforcement will tell the guy that, no, go back and fix your relationship, man. But when a man is accused of assault, then you're going to see 5 police vehicles coming to pick him up. So those are frustrations. As soon as you see a red flag, cut your losses. Otherwise, you'll end up dead.